Welcome to the second Genshin Impact character info. We are going to talk about Amber, the Outrider of Mondstadt. All of Amber's info is provided by the Genshin Impact Wiki fandom. So let's begin. Amber is a playable Pyro character, and you get her as a free character when you start up the game. In Act 1, the Outlander who caught the wind during the quest Wind of the Past, Amber is the only remaining outrider of the Knights of Favonius. She is always ready to help the citizens of Mondstadt whenever it is being simple or perhaps a more challenging task. Amber is a female character. Her birthday is August 10th, and her constellation is the Lepus. Her nation is Mondstadt, and she works for the Knights of Favonius as she is the only remaining outrider. Her favorite food and special dish is the Outrider Champion Steak. She was released as a playable character on September 28th, 2020. Her weapon is the bow, and her element is Pyro. She goes by two titles, Outrider and Gliding Champion. Amber is described as an exemplary of justice by Kaya. A righteous and accomplished knight, she fulfills her duties and does things by the Knights of Favonius handbook. She is as charismatic as she is kind, being able to see others' efforts to turn over a new leaf. Cheerful and friendly, Amber has no problem talking to strangers as if she's already acquainted with them. She is passionate in all things she does, but be it when it comes to helping others as an outrider or taking on hill-troll camps. Amber has long dark brown hair, golden eyes, fair skin. She wears a jumper-like outfit composed of dark brown leather shorts and a red hoodie, red stockings, and white tie-high boots, established with gold linking and symbols. Amber's accessories include a leather belt with two small bags, and her pyro vision attached gloves, a small belt on her right thigh, and golden frame goggles. The most distinguishing feature is the headband with a large red bow that rests on her head, resembling a shape of bunny ears. Additionally, her vision has two red feathers attached below it. Sharpshooter is a pyro attack used by Amber. Its normal attack can perform up to 5 conclusive shots with the bow. The charge attack can perform a more precise-aimed shot with a increased DMG. While aiming, flames will acclimate on the arrowhead. A full charge flaming arrow will deal pyro DMG. The plummeting attack of the sharpshooter fires off a shower of arrows in mid-air before falling and striking the ground, dealing AoE damage upon impact. The explosive puppet, also known as the Baron Bunny, is Amber's elemental skill. Can continuously taunt the enemy and drawing their fire to it. Baron Bunny's HP can scale with Amber's max HP. When destroyed or when the timer expires, Baron Bunny explodes, dealing AoE pyro damage. It can generate 4 elemental particles when it hits at least one target, and by holding the Baron Bunny, you can adjust the drawing direction of Baron Bunny. The longer the button is held, the further the draw is compact. Fiery Rain is Amber's elemental burst. It fires off a shower of arrows, dealing continuous AoE pyro damage. Every arrow finds its target is Amber's passive talent 1. It increases the crit rate of the Fiery Rain by 10% and reorders its AoE by 30%. Precise Shot is Amber's second passive talent. It's an aim shot that hits on weak spots and increases ATK by 15% for 10 seconds. Gliding Champion is Amber's third passive talent. It decreases gliding stamina compensation for your own party members by 20%. It is not stackable with passive talents that provide the extent same efforts. Amber is an outrider of the Knights of Favonius. In an age where outriders are becoming obsolete, she continues on with her own responsibilities. It takes a newcomer only a few days to feel right at home with the passionate girl. Whenever it gets before the Good Hunter's signboard, the banks of the Cider Lake, or the treetops at Ringwise, one can find traces of the village and outrider in red anywhere. Once spotted by her, no suspicious individual can ever escape her iteration. From a young age, Amber has always had boundless energy and a positive outlook on life. Each day, she burns with a fiery enthusiasm that she sees goes about her life, like a wind world smashing through any obstacle that stands in her way. At times, however, her expensive energy can make her quite a troublemaker. Needless to say, she was quite a handful when she was young. Her infamous deeds include accidentally dropping a bird's nest on her grandpa's head while trying to steal the eggs from it, and sending the dangerous slime's leaves on fire, causing it to scurry around about like a wild animal. These minor offenses gained her a notoriety among hunters' camps. Somehow, Amber was always able to escape the scene of the crime whenever she caused an accident, and not even a veteran outrider could catch up to her. Inevitably, it was Amber's grandpa who ended up with the damage control duty each time his granddaughter misbehavior caused yet another incident. To Amber, her grandpa's silent, unconditional love was like a warm breeze that wrapped it around her like a blanket. She knew that it was because of this love that he accepted her and took her responsibility for her deeds, and she embraced it slightly. But it was only when one day her grandpa resigned from the Knights of Favonius that she finally realized and understood the full extent of the responsibility he had borne all of those years. Amber's grandpa was once a leader of a mercenary group. He came from Leary Harbor and was tasked with protecting the merchant caravans as they traveled to Vat. One day, on a routine escort job, the caravan fell prey to a savage monster attack. He was the only survivor, saved by a doctor from the Knights of Favonius. He was shamed to return home and anxious to repay the debt. Amber's grandpa joined the Knights of Favonius. Before long, he handily founded the Outriders, trained each of them personally, and began leading them on missions. It wasn't long before he found love in the foreign land of Mondstadt and founded a family. Years later, Amber was born into the family. During the day, she would crouch by the window and secretly watch him training the Outriders. At night, she would sneak into the yard and practice the moves he had taught the other day. Amber's grandpa was touched by her enthusiasm and decided to teach her everything he knew. When Mondstadt accepted me, it was because my homeland. Then I decided to watch over this new land and home of mine. Maybe one day you will inherit the responsibility. But then, who knows what the future holds. As the coarse skin of her grandpa's palm rubbed against her head, a bewildered but earliest Amber nodded energetically to the response. Something happened one day, 4 years ago, that profoundly changed Amber. That day, her grandpa left his coat of arms and sword in his office and simply disappeared, leaving no note and no telling anyone he was leaving. He had been the beating heart and the backbone of the Outrider division, and without his leadership, they rapidly became undisciplined and lost their edge. A few failed operations later, the Outrider division was facing obsolescence. In the end, it was preserved as part of the Knights organization, but in name only. Experienced members either transferred to another department or resigned, and so few Outriders stayed that they simply did not have enough people to fulfill their daily patrol duties. On top of this, rumors that Amber's grandpa had defected made recovery even more difficult for the struggling Outrider division. Amber personally experienced this entire episode, having just been admitted to the Outriders before it all began. With the decline of her squad, she experienced true loss and disappointment for the first time in her life. No longer her carefree former self, she was fulfilled with a new determination. She was going to grow up and become a true Outrider as quickly as possible, no matter what it took. She had never made an actual plan before and lacked the maturity to know where to start. But what she did have was confidence and courage, and lots of it. She wanted to show she had inherited her grandpa's determination, and she wanted to find out where he had gone. But more importantly, she wanted to inherit her grandpa's former role and become a loyal protector of her homeland. Life in the Knights of Favonius was not easy for Amber in the beginning. Being as young as she was, and having just lived through a trauma of losing her grandpa, the senior knights made the point of taking care of her. However, for the girl, as despite the excel as she was, being taken care of by others implied that she wasn't yet matured enough to stand on her own 2 feet. Accordingly, she voraciously sought out extra responsibilities and made this as valuable as possible to her seniors. Finally, during an intense engagement with some monsters, the seniors noticed her bravery and resourcefulness in the heat of battle. That was the moment they realized their little girl was growing up. As she matured, she also became more at ease with herself. Whatever feedback she was met with, but in praise, rebuke, silence, or taunting, her responsibility was the same. For sure, I may still have a way to go before I catch up with my seniors, but one day I'm gonna be the best Outrider ever. Amber is not fond too much deliberation, preferring instead to seek her mind truthfully and frankly at every occasion. She firmly believes that she will not disappoint her grandpa. Today, Amber is still a firecracker. She always was, burning with endless passion and energy. Now that she's all grown up, Amber holds firm to her grandpa's teachings as she spreads her wind glider wings and watches over the city of freedom with an eye of an eagle and the purring of the bunny rabbit. The Crimson Knight is known throughout Mondstadt. The people are delighted to see the malicious little girl they remember growing up to be a guardian they can rely on. Never fear, Outrider Amber is here. Her self-conflict is simply unshakable. I am Outrider Amber, the one and only Outrider, which makes me the best there is. Amber doesn't make writing a daily diary a habit, only exceeding to write a special or memorable events in her journal. I finally caught that magical bird. It's called a Remy something. I don't remember, But I've been chasing it for 3 days and I've only been able to sit down for a proper meal today. That magical bird was really chanting one, bowing its indignant force. That good thing I didn't give up. Best of all, Master Jean gave me a special permission to pluck a feather perfume from it as a reward. Hehe. I'll wear it on my side every single day. I'm sure I followed the cookbook to the leisure and grilled the meat for 6 minutes. But a while the outside is cured and the inside isn't cooked yet. But did I not control the heat properly? But I really am so hungry, so I just have to try again tomorrow. One day I'll make the best steak and call it the Outriders Champion Steak. I met a strange outrider today. I was suspicious at first, but as it turns out, the Outlander is both reasonable and capable. Come to think of it, what would I do if an enemy that strong showed up? I mustn't fall behind. I must train harder. Amber once believed that if she took on her grandpa's post, she would understand why he left Mondstadt. However, when she officially became an outrider, she had no closer to revealing the mystery behind his wordless departure. Her grandpa had left nothing for her to find either, indicating that she would have to forge her own path. Amber had floundered for a while until she flipped through an old book of fables that she would eventually come to treasure. What you lack was not the wind, but courage. It was courage that allowed you to become the first flying birds of this world. Amber realized that she shouldn't wait for directions from someone else, but that she should be like those courageous birds that spread their wings a few into the blue skies. There must be something that only I can do. There must be. The moment she realized this, a vision began to shine brightly on her hip. There are 4 interesting facts about Amber. Fact 1. Amber is closely affiliated with rabbits. Her ribbon looks like pricked bunny ears, and her constellation is the Latin word for hair. The manga reinforces the theme as well. Fact 2. Amber's grandpa hails from Leeway, making Amber quarter Lyrian by Sicily. In the Chang village bulletin board, one message talks about a person who went to Mondstadt to become a knight some 40 or 50 years ago, only to return to the village where he can be found skulking around. The message only remarks that the man is distinguishable by the way he rides a wing glider. The person might be Amber's grandfather after his disappearance. And fact 4, it is possible that her grandfather is also the adventurer whom Granny Ruexen fell in love with, who promised to settle down with her in Chinsing village, but never returned from his exploration. Now we have come across the end of Amber's story. Next in our list of characters, it's going to be Barbara next. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Silverchan signing out.